Hi YouTube, good evening. It is 6:07 over here in Phoenix, and I'm getting ready to show you guys my macaroni and cheese recipe. So I'm going to get my pan on. I'm actually going to put it up a little bit high just so that my chicken broth starts going pretty quickly, but I'm going to show you real quick what I'm using. So I'm using about a half or a little bit more than half of a carton of the Swanson chicken broth. This is the, what is this? 33% less sodium. I have about a quarter of a cup of heavy whipping cream. And then I have black pepper, paprika, onion powder, garlic powder, salt. I'm using for my cheeses Tillamook sharp cheese. This is about a half a block of this. And I used a whole block of the Cracker Barrel Vermont sharp white cheddar. It's already shredded. And then for my noodles, I'm using the Delalo Pinarugate organic, which I get this at Sprouts. Also for dinner we're having meatloaf, which that was already prepared as a freezer meal months ago, so now I'm cooking one of them. I still have one more in the freezer. And then on the side over here, in a little bit, I'm going to move you guys to show you how I make my topping for my meatloaf. Okay, so let me show you what I'm doing. So in my pan, I'm going to just use all of this chicken broth. Alright, I'm going to go throw this away real quick. Oh, actually, before I walk away to do that, I'm going to also put in my heavy whipping cream. And I'm going to just let this come up to a boil. And then I'm going to watch this and see after I add the cheese in, because then I might need to add in a little bit more milk later on. But so for now, I'm going to let this get itself boiling. And I have this up on high. While that's getting ready to get itself together, I'm gonna show you guys. I'm gonna put my noodles in. Alright, so I still have about a third of a bag left, and I can use that for another day when it's just me and my husband home, and I decide to make some more macaroni and cheese, or I can, when I buy another pack, I'll use it for like tuna noodle casserole or something. So there's that. That's in the water. Let me get the spoon. So my noodles are cooking. I'm going to stir them around. You know what? Actually, I'm just going to use the whole thing, because in my house, we love macaroni and cheese. So I want to make sure we have some, because then if there's some left over, I'll make tuna noodle for lunch tomorrow. So for now, what I'm about to do is I'm about to move you guys over to the other side, and I'm going to show you really quickly how I make my topping for the meatloaf. And I had to get a spoon, or actually let me just bring the stuff over here and I'll show you how I do it. I'm going to bring the bowl over here real quick. So I just have a small little like cereal bowl, and in this bowl I'm gonna put in 1 can of Hunt's tomato sauce. You can use ketchup if you like. It's all up to you on how you want to do this, but I don't want to have that much sugar, so I'm gonna use tomato sauce. And then I'm gonna use dark brown sugar. Let me show you. So in here, in this bowl, hope you can see that, I'm gonna put in like 2 tablespoons, a couple tablespoons, maybe 2 or 3 of brown sugar. Have to go easy on it. I don't want it to be like super sweet. So there's that. That's going to be the topping. I'm going to add, you know, salt, pepper, and all that in there too. Just because, you know, we're using tomato sauce. But just some brown sugar. And I actually might switch that to a bigger bowl. Just because I don't want it to leak everywhere. So, yeah. Just flip that over real quick. Hold on, let me get a bigger bowl. Okay, so I have the bigger bowl here. I'm gonna just move this over. The last time I did this, I did it with ketchup, but for me, it was a little bit sweet. So this time around, I'm using tomato sauce, so it's not so sweet. Alright, so we're gonna mix the brown sugar in. And then if I need to add a little more sugar in there, I will, but I don't think I'll need to. Let me just, yeah, no, I'm not going to add any more sugar to this. But I am going to season it a little bit more, so just about a teaspoon pepper, a little bit of paprika. And you can save some of this sauce and freeze it. So the next time you have meatloaf, you already have sauce made. A little bit of salt, just a little bit. Onion. And garlic. And I'm going to stir my noodles real quick, just so they don't stick to each other. And then off camera, I'm gonna get vegetables on, but right now I'm gonna just show you these things. And then here's my sauce. And like I said, you don't have to use all the sauce. You can put some of it now and then freeze some later, and then you'll have some sauce later on. Oh yeah. But I'm gonna add some more brown sugar to it, so I'll do that later. Right now, we're going to get together this cheese sauce. So right now it's thin, but we're gonna add in our Vermont white cheddar. I'm gonna add that in, just all of it in there. And because this is not going in the oven, I'm not putting an egg in here. I sometimes put an egg in my macaroni and cheese to hold it together, but I'm not doing that today because this is getting cooked on the stove. We're gonna give this a stir. Alright, and then we're gonna add in the Tillamook sharp. And we're gonna actually turn this down because I don't want it to splash anywhere as the cheese is melting. So we're just gonna let this cheese melt. And then if I need to, I can always add more cheese. Which I think I might shred the other half just so that I have some more, so it could be cheesy, because I like cheese in my macaroni. And then the noodles are like parboiled, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn this off, and I'm gonna actually put the noodles in on this side so they can finish cooking in the cheese sauce. So we're gonna, just use this real quick. So we're gonna move these noodles. They're off. All right, everybody. What's wrong? You can come over here.
Camera shy.
Okay, Mr. I have them. I go on and share scriptures on YouTube. So we're gonna add this in, and we're gonna let the noodles finish cooking on this side. And then what I'll do is, because the water's not that starchy, I'm gonna save some of this water for vegetables, and then just cook the vegetables in this pot. So it's kind of, you know, repurposing. I don't want to waste too much, especially we're using purified water for our noodles. So there's that. So I'm almost done getting all the noodles out. And what this does is it just allows the noodles to get the flavor of the cheese sauce as it's cooking. So we got that there. And I'm gonna let this finish boiling and cook down. It's in there with the cheese. So yeah, we're gonna let this keep going. All right. And then I'm gonna shred some more cheese. I like cheese. We're actually going to turn this back up so it can come to a rapid boil and cook the way we need it to. Alright. Yeah, so right now I'm just shredding some cheese. Meatloaf is cooking at 400. And then I'm not going to add this cheese in until the noodles are all the way done. And yeah. Throw that in there. Alright. You come give this a stir because I don't want anything sticking to the bottom of the pan. You want it to cook, but you don't want it to stick because once it starts sticking, if you're not careful, it'll burn. And that's not what we want. You do not want a burnt flavor in your macaroni and cheese. And also, just so you know, I am not adding any flour or cornstarch to thicken this. The starch from the noodles, along with the heavy whipping cream, will help thicken the sauce for the macaroni and cheese. So we are not adding any thickening agents into this macaroni and cheese. And that's also why I said I am not adding an egg, because we're not baking this in the oven. And as you can tell, the sauce is starting to thicken up a little bit as it's boiling. So we're just gonna let this keep going. My cheese is also starting to form some goodness in here. So that's just where we're at. And I'm gonna just wash this real quick so it doesn't get all crazy. You know how it is when you use the shredder and if you don't wash it right away, the cheese dries. You know, you don't want the cheese stuck to it. So I'm washing it again real quick. So that is clean. And now, as my noodles are getting close to being done, another thing that I'm about to do Alright, so now I'm going to season this real quick because I need to get the seasoning in here before I add any more cheese. So paprika. And you season how you want. So I'm not giving you measurements because you need to season to your own taste. That's how I season my food for my family, and you know, I just want you to know that I'm not going to give you measurements on seasoning because you need to season it how you like your seasoning. So if you like more seasoning, put more seasoning. If you like less seasoning, put less seasoning. garlic. Okay, so now I'm going to stir this again. And we're going to make sure what are you doing? Moving the fan? Okay, so now I'm gonna give another spoon. So now, what I'm doing is I'm scraping the cheese that's building up on my spoon, on my cooking spoon, off. So I want it to be inside of the sauce. And what I'm also going to do right now is I'm about to lower this because the noodles are pretty much done. I'm going to check one of my noodles, and well, they're getting to being almost done. See, I'm able to just push the spoon down the middle and cut it in half. I don't know if you can see that very well. Here, let me turn this stove light off real quick. So you see that? The spoon, the noodle, I was able to cut it in half with the spoon. So that's how you know your noodles are getting close to being done. Now I'm going to turn this light back on so you guys can see. Oh, excuse me. Okay. Yeah, they're getting almost done. So I'm going to just put this on low. And I'm going to stir it right now. And then I'm going to add in the extra cheddar cheese that I have shredded right here, which I use 2 whole blocks of cheese. So I used 1 whole block of Tillamook sharp cheddar, and I used 1 whole block of the Cracker Barrel Vermont white cheddar cheese, which is like, it's really good. It's kind of like an extra sharp. I don't really know how to explain it to you, but yeah, so that's what I use for the cheese. I showed you my sauce for my meatloaf because I don't like ketchup on my meatloaf. And I know we're all different. Some families like ketchup, some like barbecue sauce, some like no sauce. But for me, it's a no-go. It's not that good to me. My kids like ketchup on their meatloaf, but I just prefer to make a sauce to go with it. And so I'm just gonna add this in here, and this is where I'm gonna leave you. I have a few other recipes that are going to be coming up. I'm doing it a little bit slowly. I recently had a death in the family, so you know, I'm doing this at the pace that I can be. There's going to be probably a week where I won't be recording anything. I mean, I really do it consistently now, which I should be because I'm currently home right now, but I'm trying to get better. I'm trying to do this more regular. It does take time. I have 5 kids, remember, 5 little ones, well, 3 big ones and 2 little ones. I have a middle schooler and 2 4th graders, and then I have 2 babies here at home under the age of 5. So it's a lot going on. Plus I work a full-time job. So there's that. But anyway, so I'm gonna let this macaroni and cheese finish cooking. The noodles are almost done. The sauce is gonna thicken up around the noodles, and I'm gonna let this keep going and simmering. Make sure that you come and stir occasionally to make sure the cheese does not burn to the bottom of the pan. I'm going to get my sauce onto my meatloaf because it's almost time to check my meatloaf. And I will see you guys in a whole nother video. So you have a good night. It's almost 6:30 over here. We're eating kind of late. That's not a good thing. And you guys stay blessed. You have a very good Sunday. Happy church going if you're going to church. Happy football Sunday if you're watching football. As you can see, I'm wearing my 49ers shirt. I am a 49ers fan. My husband is a Dolphins fan, and my 12-year-old is a Cowboys fan. Go figure, we all like different teams in this house. But anyways, I'm gonna let you all go. Have a safe and wonderful night.